In problems 13 through 16, the points given lie on a line. Find the slope of the line. Right, the first thing that I am going to do on this one is write the slope formula, which would be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, which means we always subtract the y's in the numerator and the x's in the denominator. All right, if we are doing these ones, if we want to label the x1, y1, x2, y2, we can, and it doesn't matter which way you go to find that slope. So I'm going to probably just switch it up each time. This time I'm going to go from a y value to a y value, so it's going to be 2 minus 7, and then over an x value to an x value, 5 minus negative 3. And each time, since I started at the right on the first one, I have to start at the right on the second one. And then 2 minus 7 is negative 5. And I could have done leave, change, opposite to get that. And then here, if I do leave, change, opposite, I get 5 plus 3, which is 8. So my slope is negative 5/8, and we do not need to reduce that at all. Okay, number 14. Again, I'm going to be using the slope formula. This time I'll just go the opposite way. So I'm going to take a y minus y, but this time I'll go left to right. So I'll do 2 minus 6, and then on the bottom we will do negative 7 minus negative 7. Right, then up top we'll do leave, change, opposite. 2 plus negative 6 is negative 4. And then down below, leave, change, opposite. Negative 7 plus 7 is 0. I know that I'm not allowed to divide by 0, so this will have an undefined slope. Do not leave your answer as negative 4 over 0, because that is not a proper answer. 15, we're finding the slope. What I like to do on these ones, if all of the points lie in a line, I just like to pick 2 of them. So I think I'll pick this one right here, and then I'll pick this one. So if we find the slope, we're going to, first of all, I'd like to write it as a point. So 0, negative 8, and 4, 2. So if I subtract my y's, I'm going to get negative 8 minus 2, and then over my x's I'm going to get 0 minus 4. Negative 8 minus 2 is negative 10. Negative 0 minus 4 is negative 4. I generally don't like to have a negative divided by negative, so that would be a positive 10/4, or if we reduced it, it would reduce to 5/2. So if you pick 2 other points, you should get one of those 2 answers as your answer. Okay, number 16. X, Y, we've got 0, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2. So again, we can pick any 2 points. So I'm just going to pick these 2 right here. We're going to get M equals, oh, actually, let me rewrite 0, 2, and 2, 2. So then when we go to find that slope, we're going to subtract the y's. So 2 minus 2 up top, and then subtract the x's. So 2 minus 0. 2 minus 2 is 0, and 2 minus 0 is 2. And 0 divided by anything will be 0. So my slope is 0 on that one. Okay, number 17, find the slope of the line given by the equation 4x minus 2y equals 20. Okay, there's 2 ways to work this one, just depending on the way that you're most comfortable with. So I'm going to work it both ways, and you pick which way works best for you. I'm first of all just going to graph this, because I then will be able to find the slope. I'm going to write it. It is written 2 times. So we're going to cross off the y, cross off the x. This first one I would divide by 4, so I'm going to get x equals 5. And then the second one I'm going to divide by negative 2, so I'm going to get y equals negative 10. And then I'm going to graph it. So my x-axis is being intercepted at 5. And then my y-axis is being intercepted at negative 10. And then we would connect them. Okay, and then if I did that, if I'm looking, it did not say to graph it, it said to find the slope. So we know the slope is the rise over the run. So I notice this is going up 10, and it is going over 5. So my rise over my run would be 10 over 5, which would reduce to 2. Okay, so that is one way we could work the problem. The other way is to solve for y. So if we solved for y, we're going to subtract 4x from both sides. So we're going to get negative 2y equals 20 minus 4x. And then we're going to divide every part by negative 2. So we'll get y equals negative 10. A negative divided by negative is a positive. 4 divided by 2 is 2x. And then the slope is always the number in front of the x. So my slope, once again, is 2. So either way gives you the right answer. You pick which way works for you. Right, number 18, find the slope of the line given by the equation y equals x plus 3. Well, we know that the slope is always the number in front of the x, so it's going to be this right here. There's no number in front of the x, so we can put a 1. So we know that our slope will equal 1. Right, number 19, identify the slope of the line as positive, negative, 0, or undefined. Since this line is going straight up and down, and that would mean we would be dividing by 0, or that is a line if we try to ski down it, or we tried to walk that line, we would not be able to. This one has an undefined slope. All right, and then number 20, identify the slope of the line as positive, negative, 0, or undefined. As I start at the left and head towards the right, we are heading upward. So since we are heading upward, this one will have a positive slope. Okay, 21. A ramp at the skate park was 7 meters long and 5 meters high before the length was increased to 9 meters. Find the slopes of both ramps. Explain how and why the slope changed. So it asks for the slope of the original ramp, the slope of the new ramp, and an explanation of the change. So I'm just going to draw a ramp at a skate park. So here's my ramp at the skate park. It says it is 7 meters long and 5 meters high. So if I want the slope of the original ramp, I know that slope is rise over run. So the rise of the ramp is 5 and the run is 7. Okay, then it says the slope of the new ramp. So now this one, it says the length, we're going to increase it to 9. So now the new length is going to be 9. So when I find rise over run for the new ramp, the rise is still 5, but now the run is 9. And then it says, explain how and why the slope changed. Okay, so how did the slope change? It changed from 5/7 to 5/9. I'm going to say the slope became smaller because 5/9 is smaller than 5/7. And I'm going to say because when we made it longer, this ramp was not as steep. So when the length was increased, the steepness, the ramp, I'm just going to put the ramp, was not as steep. And you can have an answer, it doesn't have to be exactly like mine, and hopefully it isn't.